al martello. Parenthèse Norwegian race. Et c'est toujours Gaël Poujol qui a le meilleur temps. Ben maintenant, on a un Français à la deuxième place, Badis qui pourrait. Plus 51.1. C'est très bien Basile. les premiers sont donc, on a terminé maintenant avec les départs. We are now over with the start. And we wait now for the last racers crossing the finishing line. L'Espagne, regarde l'Espagne.
Incroyable. Incroyable. Le titre gagnant pour les dames. Incredible Spain this year. With a beautiful entry. And in less of 10 minutes right now we will get the race with the women and the different heats. We will restart with the first heat at 11h57, 11h57, ce sera le prochain départ avec bien sûr cette fois-ci les courses qui vont commencer hit par hit. On aura un podium de 6 jeunes filles qui prendront le départ. Il y aura 5 hits qui se suivront, Christina, pour faire passer, eh bien voilà, les 35 jeunes filles.
Oui. Et alors on est presque prêt à partir avec les filles, comme tu disais, mais on a maintenant encore les 4 meilleures qui approchent de la ligne d'arrivée. On a vu avant Robert Galindo, 8e temps pour lui. Au moment, l'arrivée de Max Briand, on aura maintenant Arnaud Lieta, et après Oriol Cardona et SkiMo en selvé. Mais toujours les Espagnols qui ont vraiment fait une grande qualif avec Courchevel, Courchevel, Nico Martinez, Arnaud Lieta maintenant. Ça va améliorer le temps, donc le leader, Arnaud Lieta, to leader, Arnaud Lieta, 2:46.7, with Courchevel second, third, Courchevel, Nico Martinez va distribuer le premier français en 5e place, bravo Brésil. Oriol Cardona, approaching the finishing line. Donc on attend les derniers deux temps avec Oriol Cardona et
2,46, le record à date. Est-ce que le record de Arnaud Lieta avec 2,46 pour ce parcours.
Et alors Oriol Cardona
qui en termine.
7e, donc on attend encore le temps de Thibaut Anselmi. Après on aura la situation complète, donc on a encore le 61 qui est sur le parcours. Arnaud Lieta de 5,8, 2:46.7, Osperer, Biel Pujol, Nico Martinez, Vadim Dutouré en 5e, Oriol Cardona, Marc Radua. 5 Espagnols dans les premières positions.
Qu'est-ce que tu dirais toi visuellement? Tu as vu les deux descendre. Est-ce que tu penses qu'ils peuvent descendre plus vite encore? Regarde notre anglais qui prend tous les risques maintenant.
Tu sais, les qualifs, c'est une compétition, après les listes, c'est une compétition. Ils sont tous ensemble, side by side, et donc on verra bien ce qui va se passer, mais on switch rapidement sur les listes. On a le dernier qui est arrivé maintenant, on a donc une situation complète pour les qualifications chez les hommes. Donc on a Royeta Osperer, Biel Pujol, Nico Martinez, Baptiste Dutouré, le meilleur français dans les qualifs, en 6e, Oriol Cardona, Marc Radua, Loïc Alors tout de près, here we are ready to start in a few minutes with the first heat for women. Harrop, Alonso, Zucker, Chiarello Marti, Valdal, Mate Jolikova. Et donc la voilà qui entre Amy Harrop avec le descend numéro 1 qui prend donc sa première place pour choisir la ligne de line de course. Amy Harrop, Courchevel sur son casque. La première piste donc avec Harrop, Alonso, Zucker, Chiarello Marti, Cavalda, Mate Jolikova. On rappelle donc que c'est les premières qui vont passer direct à la demi-finale. Et après on doit attendre la Kilometer Time pour pouvoir aura à la demi-finale. Then you will be qualified for the semi-final and then we have to wait until the last piste to see the qualifications for the semi-final. Anna Alonso taking the place, Anna Zucker controlling a very good race for young Anna Zucker. Use the mountain running and then big number 56, the coming back of Deborah Chiarello Marti, Switzerland, Ina Valdal entering now from Norway. And the last one will be from Czech Republic, the young Eva Mate Jolikova. Very good, Eva. Le départ de la première hit avec Amy Harrop, Alonso, Zucker, Deborah Chiarello, Ina Valdal, Eva Mate Jolikova. Here we are with the first heat. And we start calling also the second heat. Giulia Morata, Tatiana Paller, Marta Garcia, Luis Rico, Katia Mascherona, Alessandra Schmidt. We invited the public to come just in between the start and the finishing area. On demande donc au public de nous joindre ici dans la zone entre la ligne de départ et la zone d'arrivée. On voit sur l'écran géant la heat, la première. We call also the second heat. On appelle donc aussi la deuxième heat avec Murata, Paller, Garcia, Rico, Mascherona, Schmidt. On voit Amy Harrop à la tête sur les diamants. You can see Amy Harrop on the heat before the départ. Et elles sont presque pratiquement ensemble sur la partie qui approche le portage. On a un petit brouillard qui arrive maintenant. We are now on the section in between the second set of the diamonds and the super. It's a bit foggy. Amy Harrop.
Grâce regarde, aux caméras et aux images qui sont placées tout le long du parcours, on va pouvoir suivre sur l'écran géant, c'est juste magique. Une véritable organisation. C'est vrai qu'on disait que Courchevel c'est une service des Coupes du Monde et évidemment là on le voit pleinement parce que visuellement on ne verrait plus rien. Et là regarde, grâce aux caméras, on a le bas des marches, 65 marches. Et Emilia Harrop, elle est bien partie pour aller le chercher.
Regarde, Anna Zucker pour la Slovénie, c'est vraiment très bien. On est en train de pas connaître le stade de forme de l'athlète là.
Elle se met dans les jambes effectivement d'Emilia Harrop. Elle n'a rien lâché depuis le début. Elle s'est dit voilà, je suis la championne.
Elle vient de Mountaineering.
Et là c'est là, regarde, où ça peut se jouer sur le moment où on remet effectivement les skis. Emilia Harrop une très belle technique, une très belle rapidité sur cette zone de transition. Un nice speed for Emilia Harrop of the transition area. And this is a good moment right now to prepare the down.
And Amy Harrop, Anna Zucker, very good, just behind Anna Alonso and 1 minute to the start, 1 minute donc au départ de cette deuxième équipe. Déjà qualifié Miharo Pana Alonso, troisième place pour Deborah Kerelomani, quatrième Anna pour la Slovénie.
D'annoncer un petit monde.
Je suis là avec Stefano. Oui, bon, au départ, je dis qu'ils sont de pas de musique. On a maintenant 30 secondes, 30 seconds before the start. Everything is ready. Giulia Murata, Tatiana Valle, Marta Garcia, Lucy Vico, Katia Mascherona, Alessandra Schmidt, ready to take the start. 42 seconds, first race of the season. We are now 10 seconds before the start. Stop the music.
Thanks, Mark.
Le lead avec l'Allemagne, tout simplement qui va entrer la première dans le Diamonds avec Taylor Tatiana. Elle prend la partie droite. Tatiana on this right side for the moment. And he's the first one to lead the first Diamonds. She leads the open group. Tatiana Taylor from Germany. Actually on the first positions at the entrance of the second Diamonds. And she chooses the right side. Is it the best choice? It's in the few seconds. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at that, look at that. She chooses the left side and she's on the first position right now, just after the second Diamonds. Elle a pris le lead après le passage du deuxième diamant et la finition. Incroyable. On le disait tout à l'heure, peut-être que moi, même si la partie gauche, finalement, elle permet peut-être à certaines athlètes de se lever. Elle va prendre le lead. Voilà, représentant l'Italie juste devant Tatiana Feiler. Julia Molada on the lead right now at the entrance of the stairs. And she started to be the first exactly of the sets with the best positions. On va se retirer.
Avec Marta Garcia, Tatiana Paller, Marta Garcia,
Ça se joue là sur les transitions maintenant avec deux athlètes, que ce soit bien sûr du côté de l'Allemagne, l'Espagne ou l'Italie. Ouh là 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 là, c'est... allez.
quelques problèmes pour Julia Murata pour sa fixation sur la descente. Elle a failli s'arrêter parce qu'elle voit derrière Marta Garcia. Donc on verra bien dans cette descente. Elles sont ensemble les trois avec aussi Tatiana Paller et des athlètes en ce moment la première vitesse avec unique décimètre de 5K Ordonez J.
Oh là là, regardez ça, c'est incroyable arrive, mesdames et messieurs, les trois dames de tête au coude à coude, au ski à ski. Attention Courchevel, on va dire un instant sur le dernier sprint final.
Giulia Murata e Tatiana Paller. Wow, raggiunge.
Je ne connais pas maintenant ici. Ok. Pour la Yuda on the first position, Tatiana Feiler, second position, third position for Marta Garcia Perez, fourth position for
Caroline Ulrich avant de mettre au pied in Luis Franca, Maria Ordonez, Lulucci. On a maintenant presque dernière 30 secondes, donc déjà qualifié Harrop. Alonso, Giulia Murata, Tatiana Weiler. 30 seconds now to the start, 30 secondes au départ de la troisième course. Ulrich, De Silvestro, De Franca, Ordonez, G. We are approaching now to the last second for music to stop, and now stop the music, please.
Thank you, Mark.
Et voilà le départ. C'est le départ aussi de la troisième site avec Ulrich, De Silvestro, De Franca, Ordonez, G.
Allez, c'est parti pour nos dames avec ce troisième kit féminin. On en aura 5 au total, il en restera encore 2 au départ, donc ici avec Caroline Ulrich, Alba De Silvestro, Desine, Luis Franca, Ordonez, Lulucci, la Chine, l'Espagne, la France, la Suisse, l'Italie qui sont représentés sur ce troisième kit. Allez, Luis Franca, on va tout miser. Louis qui semble prendre pour le moment la 4e place, elle reste bien au contact. Allez, l'Espagne avec Maria Ordonez dans les premières positions.
Très belle course pour Maria Ordonez, Caroline Ulrich qui décide Alba De Silvestro. Le portage maintenant qui commence. Good part pour Gus in the third.
Allez, regarde là, ça va reprendre, ça reprend du terrain. On the steps area, 65 different steps on this side.
Maria Ordonez already first on the transition area, Caroline Ulrich, and then keep the scene, the Swiss.
Allez, Caroline Ulrich, it could make the lead in few minutes, maybe.
Caroline Ulrich approaching the last transition, just behind her, Maria Ordonez. Déjà près de la 4e site avec Maria Staton, Margot Ravinel, Bonel, Yanetti Costa et compagnie.
On the transition area, Caroline Ulrich gets the first position and get the lead on this ski down right now, and she's alone on the down. Just after her, Maria Ordonez.
Dans quelques instants, libération de la ligne d'arrivée. In a few instants, we will see her on the finishing line. Et voilà, accroché donc sur le final pour cette troisième hit avec Caroline Ulrich. Qualified, very good Caroline Ulrich. From Switzerland, real fight, belle bataille maintenant entre Maria Ordonez et la Suisse Citadine, très compétitive. Allez pour la Suisse.
Et l'Italie.
France, France, Slovaquie, Espagne, Italie. And we are now with the last seconds. Stop music, please.
Thank you, Mark. Fred.
La quatrième piste, the start of the fourth pista with Papa Raminel, Elena Bonaglia che si fa Costa e Compagnoni. Maintenant sur le premier set des diamants. Donc dans la première liste, Caroline Ricci-Dessine, troisième temps pour Alba De Silvestro. Avec quatrième Maria Ordóñez. Et voilà, on les voit dans la deuxième partie des diamants, second set of diamonds going up on the right and the left area. Approaching to the top, Marianna Faton and Marianna Jagerchikova, Marianna, side by side.
Le Marianne.
Oui, avec Maria Costa, très bien l'espagnol aussi, et après les françaises, Elena Bonel et Margot Raminel avec la Compagnoni. Et après se prépare aussi la dernière hit avec Gabriela Bonaghan et Giulia Ducon, Colampis, Nerea Kolbe et Léa Ansion.
Et on découvrira aussi l'équipe masculin tout à l'heure avec ces garçons. On va se régaler aussi, hein. Déjà qu'on se régale avec Noda dans ses premiers hits. Et ça va aller en s'intensifiant en plus, hein, sur ce même parcours.
Et on a Mariana Jagerchikova qui part en première sur le portage. From Slovakia, first on the footpath, Mariana Jagerchikova followed by Marianne Faton et tous d'accord.
Ouais, puis j'allais dire attention de ne pas perdre trop d'énergie dans ces escaliers, parce que Marianne Faton, elle reste bien au contact et elle pourrait effectivement dans le jeu de transition revenir rapidement sur Marianne Jagerchikova. Allez, attention, regarde, l'instant vraiment intéressant. Margot Raminel aussi, hein, qui est revenu, regardez, on la voit sur la droite. Regardez, elle repart en deuxième, Margot Raminel.
Vraiment rapide Margot, sur les coups de Mariana Jagerchikova, après il y a Marianne Faton et Lena Bonel.
Allez, attention, ça déborde. Là, il ne va pas falloir perdre de temps. L'action décida va repartir la première. Et la zone, c'est Marianne Faton, Mariana Jagerchikova, Margot Raminel. Les Françaises, est-ce qu'ils peuvent venir, regarde, aller chercher.
Et alors c'est Marianne Faton qui repart en première avec Lena Bonel, deuxième côté Margot Raminel et après Mariana Jagerchikova, très rapide dans la dernière transition, les Françaises et Marianne Faton. On verra bien donc qui seront les deux qui auront accès direct à la finale. Sur la descente maintenant, déjà serait de la dernière piste, Marianne Faton à la tête avec Lena Bonel, Margot Raminel, Mariana Jagerchikova. Here we are with the fourth piste, Marianne Faton de la Sturbe, approaching the finishing line and leaving qualified Lena Bonel and Marianne Faton with first place Margot Raminel and fourth Mariana Jagerchikova.
Waouh, quel travail pour ces dames-là, incroyable, incroyable. Le développement.
Oui. Et tout est prêt maintenant déjà pour la dernière piste. C'est derrière la du compte de la piste de Ansion.
Et on ne peut pas rêver mieux. a pesé. Il y a Klipsik, Dupont, Slovus. On va y arriver. Turan, Zen, Courchevel, Ancion, Andorra, Slovenia, China, France, Poland on the heat. This is the last heat for the women.
12h25, on aura le départ des filles chez les hommes. 12:25, the start of the men's heat. And we will wait to have the official results. Should be some penalties on the heat. Il y aura quelques pénalités dans les heats chez les filles, donc on attend.
Ah d'accord, ouais, il va y avoir une petite redimension.
Et puis pour avoir les lacs leaders, très bien, Ivona Janovic. Et à la tête donc de la course, leader now, Ivona Janovic from Poland, very strong Polish girl. Dans cette équipe aussi, c'est Yabelia Luna di Pompo, l'Ancuzzone raccogliere le Ancion.
On se régale pour le moment avec voilà, ces images. Ça reste au contact, c'est bien, c'est bien, c'est bien.
Qui essaye de dépasser la chinoise pour l'Ancuzzone. Toujours le leader, c'est Ivona Janovic. Approche donc de la transition avec le portage. Et là voilà, we are first transition with Ivona Janovic, Celia Peria sur l'Ancuzzone. Very close to the first to leave. Et Celia Peria, donc pas avec Celia dans la transition. Ivona Janovic.
C'est bien pesé. Et on prend le lead. The leader Frenchies, they get the leader on the steps. You need to keep this visible energy on this speed. Et à Dupont, to follow the Frenchies.
Et là voilà Celia qui arrive en première.
Yes, first for the France, second position for the Poland.
Celia, very fast Celia Peria.
Yes, good goal for France. Poland just on the next place for the second place for the moment.
So la transition, la dernière transition avec Celia Peria qui enlève ses sauts avec Ivona Janovic juste derrière elle. Et Celia est déjà prête pour la descente de Celia Peria.
Et ils sont où les Français? On nous entend pour ce... Oh, la team la Clusa. Oh aïe 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 aïe. Et regarde ça, elle part toute seule avec une belle avance maintenant pour Celia Peria. Juste derrière elle, normalement, la polonaise, Jan Demitsik.
Et la voilà Celia.
Senior category and really wants to be selected as much as possible for the World Cup within the French team this year. So we'll see how he does amongst some of the best in the world. It is the first heat of the men's sprint race here in Courchevel. The first time the ISMF has come to Courchevel, and you can see the locals are very happy. They've got a lot of local athletes on the start line today. Nearest to us is Maël Brun, I was just talking about. Next to him, Jim Dalsett of Norway. Finn Hirsch with one yellow and one red sleeve. In the black helmet, I believe, Pablo Jenner. The red uniform is Arnaud Lieta, one of the very first athletes to specialize in the sprint, actually. The man from Grison in Switzerland has a particularly high tolerance for lactic acid, we are told, and is certainly one to be careful of, I guess, is maybe a way of putting it, but he is definitely one to watch. He has won the Sprint Cup twice in 2021 and 2022, and he goes into the lead here as they head into this set of diamonds. And that is Robin Galando of France, up there with Arnaud Lieta. This young man is quite the character, very, very, very enthusiastic. Always a joy to see him on a race course, on a podium. He was third in the European Championships earlier this year, so last season. But it's Arnaud Lieta, followed by Finn Hirsch. The Germans have a bit of a change in their team. They've got permanent coach, permanent physio, and so on. They've really got some great stuff going on. They've had camps going on this autumn. And it is Pablo Giner who comes in to transition third. Arnaud Lieta into the last transition. And out. Oh, there's a little wobble from Finn Hirsch in the background there. It's quite important to get to the front, as close to the front as you can when you come into transition, because it means that nobody can get in front of you, or fewer people can get in front of you. As Arnaud Lieta comes down nice and easily. Arnaud Lieta takes the win in the very first of the men's heats here in Courchevel. Pablo Giner. Well, see, here was me talking about Robin Galando, and it was Pablo Giner all along. Well, my apologies, Pablo. Excellent race, right in there behind the great Arnaud Lieta. Finn Hirsch comes in third. We will have to see where he ranks in the lucky losers. In case you hadn't quite got that, it is the first two athletes in every heat that automatically qualify for the semi-finals, and then after that we need two more athletes, so we have the fastest lucky losers, as they are called, across all of the heats. They could be from the same one, they could be from separate ones. Heat number 2, another biggie, Oriol Cardona Call. First of all, that is Arthur Whitehead of the United States. Max Drian of Belgium. Next to him is Robin Bussard of Switzerland. Oriol Cardona Call of Spain. And then we have Inigo Martinez of Spain and Arnaud Gasser of Switzerland. This is a big heat. These are some really, really excellent athletes. Absolutely at the top of their game. Arnaud Gasser there of Verbier in Switzerland. I didn't even need to tell you that. You can tell that from his helmet. And away they go. Second of the men's heats here in Courchevel. Oh no, and there's been a bit of an incident at the back there. This is what I say when I say anything can happen. And one of the most important things in this race is that you absolutely have to keep going. that was Max Drian, who has had another shocker. Max Drian of Belgium there, losing a ski after that incident. And that is Robin Bussard of Switzerland. Neck and neck with Oriol Cardona. No, not with Inigo Martinez. With Oriol Cardona coming up behind him. Inigo Martinez into the lead. Robin Bussard. Oriol Cardona called just, I think, coming past. Robin Bussard on a slip there. Sometimes that can happen. Takes up quite a lot of their energy, but it happens with new snow. It happens when it's icy, obviously. As Inigo Martinez, who is an absolute machine on the foot part, as you can see there, it is absolutely one of the places you do not want to be up against him. He is quite strong on the foot part. Robin Bussard there just got ahead. It is Oriol Cardona call. Well, it's the beginning of the season. You'll forgive me, I hope. But there we are, Oriol Cardona call ahead of Robin Bussard and Inigo Martinez, but they're both very strong on the foot part. So here we go into this last bit. Robin Bussard into the last transition. Oriol Cardona call. Here we have a junior Olympic champion in Robin Bussard from Lausanne 2020. And behind him, the current European and world champion in sprint, Oriol Cardona call. Robin Bussard comes in ahead of Oriol Cardona call and his compatriot Inigo Martinez. So you get a great view there of the setup. Arnaud Gasser will be maybe a little disappointed in his fourth place, but not perhaps as disappointed as this man, Max Drian, with big, big hopes to represent Belgium in the Olympics. Had a bit of an upset there, but it's only the beginning. Heat number 3. Well, this will make the locals happy, because Florian Sautel is in this heat. That is Giovanni Rossi of Italy. And he is up there with, as I say, Florian Sautel, Hans Inge Klette of Norway, a very strong sprint athlete, John Kistler and Tobias Donnet of Switzerland, and Basile Ducourret of France. They're off. It is I'm just pausing there because that was a great roar of appreciation from the local crowd. sure if I might have Laetitia back with me. Not yet.
Avec l'Italien Giovanni Rossi qui est le casque jaune juste derrière le titre. Et après on a la France avec Florian Sautel, Basile Ducouret sur la gauche.
Oh, a little bit of a slip there from John Kissler of Switzerland.
Un signe net aussi pour la Norvège qui essaye de récupérer.
Allez, rien n'est encore joué sur la partie des diamants. Là maintenant, on va dire
Kissler coming up here
fameuse marche.
ahead of Basile Ducouret, who just won the French National Cup sprint race in team a couple of weeks ago.
Florian Sautel.
Allez, ça part complètement pour la Suisse.
Rapide, mais le Norvégien qui est très fort dans les sprints. Et la France qui arrive.
John Kissler comes in to the transition area ahead of Hans-Inge Klette, Basile Ducouret, and it's John Kissler taken away. Oh,
John Kissler on the last transition, dernière transition pour le John Kissler, Giovanni Rossi deuxième, Basile Ducouret pour la France en troisième, Hans-Inge Klette pour la Norvège, puis le recommence pour John Kissler pour la Suisse.
Yeah, she getting enough times on the transition area. Is sure to be on the first position down right now for the Switzerland's Johan Kittler, and the second and third place is just playing right now.
here we have John Kissler approaching the finish line. John Kissler takes the win ahead of Giovanni Rossi and Basile Ducouret. A great result there for John Kissler, who had some fantastic autumn training, and he is aiming for a podium in the World Cup this season. So that was an excellent start to that ambition. Heat number 4, Matteo Favre of Switzerland, Baptiste Hermenreich of France, Ott Ferrer Martinez of Spain, Loïc Dubois of Switzerland, Jérémy Anselme of France, and Aurel Om Rupert of Andorra.
Courchevel, France, 30 secondes au départ, 30 seconds. Now to the start of the 4-4e piste pour la compétition chez les hommes pour les qualifications pour
Oh, look at this magnificent view from the drone. And they are off. This is the 4th of 5 heats for the men. Look at this, look at this. It's fabulous to see it from this view, straight above them like that. I'm hoping we might have Laetitia back with us. There she is. Everybody, Laetitia Roux is back in the room, and I'm delighted to reintroduce the 17-time world champion, a sprint specialist, Laetitia Roux of France. Laetitia, we've missed you.
Yeah, me too.
Tell me, I know you've been dealing with technical issues, but what have you seen so far this morning?
It was really incredible. The battle is it's amazing, and the boot packing to the foot part is really demanding. We can see a really steep boot packing, and it happens really at the end of the sprint, so it's a bit special because after that it's kind of finished the climb, you know. So yeah, the athletes can make a big difference on this part for sure.
Yeah, I think it's the first time I've seen such a huge boot pack followed by almost no more vertical.
Yeah, then it's flat. It's only just a flat part, almost down actually.
And what does that do for the athletes? I mean, how will that feel?
Actually, I think the most complicated is that they arrive at the transition zone here, just to take off the skins really fast, and you already have to not go above the line, so they have to slow down and stop. Usually, you don't have to do that, and so they arrive really quickly all together at this point. So it's pretty strategic. You have to go to take the good spot to start the downhill.
Yeah, and we've seen obviously some absolute favourites. A bit of an unfortunate incident there for Max Drian. He'll be disappointed in that. But also we've seen some brand new seniors getting through to the heats for the first time, especially from the French team.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if you think about Basile Ducouré, for example. He finished second at the French champ last week. So yeah, he's a great hope for the French team for sure.
And we can barely see a thing, but that was Ott Ferrer Martinez ahead of Matteo Favre, 1 and 2 in that last one, with Jérémy Anselmet, Loïc Dubois, Baptiste Elmenreich, and Oriel Orm Rupert. And we are now on to the final heat for the men, with some of the big names here, Laetitia. We've got Thibaut Anselmet, Nicolas Canclini, Patrick Peritin, but we've also got Marc Radua-Yverne and Biel Pujol-Paramon of Spain, and Izimaer Tuaterali from China. Big year for Thibaut.
Yes, for sure. Thibaut is, I guess, he's still super motivated, like everyone for sure. But Thibaut, he has a big challenge just in front of him.
Yes.
For the third overall ranking, so maybe an extra motivation for him.
Yes, because a few years ago he had been twice second in the overall behind the Italians, Robert Antonioli and Michele Boscacci. And now he has really taken off into his own, if you like. He's now, but I mean, I suppose it's changing a little bit, because to be an overall contender, you need to be really strong at the sprint these days, because there are fewer of the other races in the circuit. So he has a distinct advantage there, I would suggest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There are much more sprints than before now. So, yeah, they have to be strong everywhere anyway.
Yes, they do. And how has the sprint changed from when you were competing?
I think it's more the level than the sprint. Now it's the density is really high, especially for men. At the beginning they were like 100 at the start. Women 60. It's a lot. It's actually impressive and it's very good. But now, yeah, for the men, for example, it's the density is incredible. So you have to be strong everywhere. You can't be strong like just for the foot part or just for the start. Or they are really they have to be strong going up for the transitions, for the downhill, for everything. You can't do any little mistake. It's really dense. But the route, I would say, it's kind of similar, but maybe the downhill a bit more fun. Sometimes they put some jumps more, but it's more or less the same. I think it's more the level which now is really high. It's just incredible for transition. They need the fastest athletes. They need less than 5 minutes.
Yes.
5 minutes, 5 seconds, 3 seconds sometimes when they are training, which is really different than racing. But they are so fast for the transitions. It's amazing.
And look at what's happening here. We've got Biel Pujol Paramon in the lead there, and just doing his usual, I mean, nearly right at the back there until almost the end of the diamonds coming into transition. And Thibaut Anselme has just powered right through. And look, how it's an extraordinary ability he has that we see nearly every single race he does. He starts, makes you think he's not going to go anywhere, and then powers through the field. He's I think he's able to stay really calm, and he can do a very big difference at the end. And he's really strong for the transitions as well. So every time you can see each transition, they are just perfect, and he can gain second and second, and but it's impressive. Yeah, very impressive. And here he comes, the impressive athlete himself down there. And this is the last of the heats. I can't believe we're here already. What happened there? Was that some gates missed, do we think?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. As Thibaut Anselme slows to come across the line, because all he had to do was be in first or second here. But something happened there in those last gates as Patrick Perretin of Switzerland comes across the line. The Swiss, of course, sort of started this speciality training, didn't they? Really, they were the sort of leaders in specializing in the sprint.
Yes, and especially the Swiss team, I think they are training and focus on the sprint for some years already. And there are some really good specialists in the Swiss team.
Yep, but not at the top of the tree for the moment. But we will see what happens today. Quite a few of the Swiss athletes qualified through to the semi-finals. And gosh, look at the visibility. What difference does that sort of level of visibility, the snow coming down, what difference does that make for the racing, both uphill and downhill?
Yeah, I think it's more can be a problem for the downhill for sure, more than the climb, and but of course it's completely different from one heat to the other. The visibility can be really bad. Like right now, it's snowing a bit more, and for example, for the bump, where there is a bump, if you don't have the visibility, it's really hard to take the good trajectory, the good line, and then I think it's what happened actually just before. Then it's difficult because the gates are really close and they arrive pretty fast. So if we don't take the good line on the jump, for example, you're just out of the of the turn. So
yeah, it's as I say it all the time, but anything can happen, and you quite often see somebody doing really well and they come down, and those, they're tight gates. Certainly, as you just said, that last couple are very tight to come around there to get a good line into the finish. But so yeah, that's where we are with that. Let's have a little look at what we have seen so far for the women's race. We had some excellent racing there. I couldn't have you by my side for that. So tell me, what did you see in amongst the women, just quickly? What was good, what was interesting?
Well, Emilia Hopp did a very good race, for sure. Of course.
Yes, on home turf.
Yeah, I have to remember, sorry.
That's okay. Well, what we saw was Emily Harrop, Anna Alonso. Both of them took the first heat. Anna Alonso back from an ankle injury, so that's great. We've got Tatiana Paller, Giulia Murada, Type Dessin, and actually Alba Di Silvestro in the of Italy. She says with a slight curve up, and it's because not always Alba's strongest suit, but working more on her fast races, I think with a view to the mixed relay. Yeah. And then, of course, Marianne Faton. I think I see where my surprise has come from. Looks like Caroline Ulrich picked up a penalty, very unfortunately, in that third heat. So she has gone down into third, and we'll have to hope and see if she wins a place in the lucky losers. Marianne Faton, Lena Bonnell, and then Celia Peria-Pessé and Ivona Januszczyk. All those athletes, or those 10 athletes, definitely into the semi-finals, which we will be starting at 1 o'clock.
So I can't see Mariana Jakarjikova.
No, she came fourth in the fourth.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah.
So some surprises there. Because
yeah, Lena Bonnell, she did an incredible race. I remember now. She was more on the back at the first part of the sprint, and she did a very good end of the climb. Very good transitions. Yeah, she did. I think she's one of the lucky losers.
Yes, well, we will soon see that. We will be getting that up on our screens very soon. So, Courchevel, how we're going to see tomorrow, we'll be seeing the vertical. That's a place you know quite well. What's the atmosphere like sort of generally at Courchevel for SkiMo, the appetite for ski mountaineering?
Yeah, there is always an incredible atmosphere here, and yeah, they are always super keen to welcome ski mountaineering events. So I guess tomorrow it's going to be interesting on this climb, because it's the climb they use every week here in Courchevel, so it's kind of a big party. And here now there is a big project here to leave this sprint set up here for to be able to train during the winter. So this is a big project with Emilia Harrop. I think it is the first time in France, for sure.
Yeah. So what, this permanent sprint setup? Yeah, so we can see them warming up. Talk to me a little bit about how athletes stay warm, those that are qualified, because it's quite a big gap.
Yes, now they use a lot the bikes, you know, it's quite new. Nobody was doing that before, and now they use the bike, how do you say, the home trainer, like, and I think it's very good, yeah, to keep warm and just recover a bit.
The sprint race, the summer training is over, the autumn camps are completed, and the snow is falling. It can only mean one thing: the ski mountaineering season is upon us. Welcome to the ISMF World Cup Courchevel in France for the first races of the 2025 season. Today is the sprint race and the competitors are ready to go after a long break. We're here in Courchevel, which is part of the biggest ski domain in the world. It's the sprint race. And you can see here that the vertical meter gain, elevation gain there is 69 meters. They go up through the green diamonds, then onto the yellow foot part on their feet with their skis on their backpack, a little bit further on, and then they ski down. We have had some very exciting racing this morning, and you can see the results here from the heats going through the top two of each and go through automatically. And Marta Garcia Fares and Margot Ravinel of Spain and France are the lucky losers, and that is your two semi-finals right there. I'm Katie Friend, and I have the great pleasure of having with me 17-time world champion of ski mountaineering, Laetitia Roux of France. Welcome, Laetitia.
Hey, thank you, Katie.
Let's just have, I'm going to quickly talk us through this explainer, because sprint is quite a new, it's not a new sport, but it's certainly a new one coming up for the Olympics this qualifying year. It's a fast and furious format, and it's making its debut at Milan Cortina. 30 athletes qualify. They go through to 5 heats, 6 athletes in each heat. We've just seen those. They have to complete 2 sets. They have to go up through the diamonds, and then they go onto foot, they ski down. The first 2 athletes in each heat and 2 lucky losers from the heats make it to the semi-finals. There are 2 semi-finals, and the 2 first athletes and a lucky loser from each make it to the final, and the winner is the first past the post. And the snow is falling hard and fast. Laetitia, what does this mean for sprint athletes as they head out here? We're at the semi-finals for the women. We're in Courchevel. It's the first of the season. We've got some great athletes in here. What will they be facing as they head out onto this course? Just a quick idea of what the fresh snow means for them.
Yeah, actually this fresh snow, it depends. It can be a fresh snow, like a dry fresh snow, like a humid fresh snow, and it has a big importance to choose their skins, because athletes have like 10 pairs of racing skins, and they're gonna choose depending on the snow, depending on the profile of the sprint, depending on a lot of things. And yeah, the snow here can change the grip, you know, to climb in the diamonds. There are kind of slight slopes, so it's a bit harder to grip. Yeah, sure.
So let's just have a quick look at these athletes. Thank you, Laetitia. We're going to talk about that a little bit more going on. But Ana Alonso Rodriguez, we just saw there in this first semi-final as well. We have Emily Harrop, local to this part of the world, and very much a very exciting year for her as she heads into hoping for another sprint title. Tatiana Paller of Germany, Julia Murada, Thibaut Dessin of Switzerland, and Margot Ravinel of France.
Yeah, incredible for Ana Alonso.
Yes, as we were saying earlier, an ankle injury, or just at the start of this. It's great to see her back on the start line, because she wasn't sure she was going to make it, and she's here. Emily Harrop, I believe, is now the only woman to have matched your 3 sprint titles, overall titles, I mean. Am I correct?
Sorry, you said she.
She's been a 3-time sprint winner now. I think, is she the only one to match you?
I think so, yeah.
And so this could be it. You could lose your... she could be
Yeah.
taking the 4th this year. That will be, of course, her hope. Then they're off. But the biggest hope this year, Laetitia, isn't it, for everybody, is that this is the very first time we've had an Olympic qualifying year in ski mountaineering.
Yes, and each race, each World Cup is can be decisive and is really important for athletes. They're not gonna get the qualification on this race, but it's going to be at the end of the season. Coaches are going to decide actually depending on the season of each athlete. So every race is really really important for them.
It is indeed, and as we see in this race, we have Tatiana Paller of Germany, Emily Harrop of France, Margot Ravinel in the red helmet there off to the right of your screens. That is Giulia Morada behind them, and Thibaut Dessin of France. I beg your pardon, Thibaut Dessin of Switzerland. Sorry, Switzerland. And Anna Alonso at the back there. And some very strong athletes here. Margot Ravinel still quite young, and also Thibaut Dessin.
Yeah, we can see Emily. She seems pretty calm. She was behind in the diamonds, but yeah, she looks like everything is under control for her.
Yeah, she always makes it look very easy and relaxed, which is, yes, difficult to imagine that it is, but she does make it look easy. Up into the 65 we have here, 65 steps and about 18 meters of vertical just in the steps. And then we're going to see when they get to the top, they have quite a different, normally after the steps we would expect to see another sort of steep part, short but steep, and sometimes quite technical part on skins. But what we're about to see here is quite flat. Tell me, how does that make, what sort of difference does that make for the athletes?
Well, it's just so short after the boot packing. It's really hard to make a difference after that. So it's a very explosive sprint and pretty short actually. So the difference is, yeah, I think after the boot packing you have to, yeah, just get a good spot then and be very good on the transitions. But otherwise, yeah, it's really hard to make a difference after that.
France 1 and 2, Emily Harrop followed by Margot Ravinel.
Yeah, she's doing a great race, Margot Ravinel. Yeah. The downhill, the snow is actually only artificial snow under this fresh layer, so we can't really see here, but the snow is pretty hard and icy on the way down.
There she goes into the final for Emily Harrop, followed by her. Ooh, yes, Margot Ravinel takes it just ahead of Giulia Morada.
It's a very good race for Margot Ravinel.
Very good indeed. She just won, Margot Ravinel, the French National Championships vertical race, as well as 4th in the sprint last weekend. So looking like a good start to the season for her.
Yeah.
On to semi-final 2 now. And it's always so exciting. I know it sounds like a really obvious thing to say, but it's so exciting when we get to this sort of stage and you really got the best of the best out there. That is Marianne Faton of Switzerland taking her spot. For those just coming in and new to this, the person who was fastest in the previous race gets to choose their spot. Most often, I would say, Laetitia, they choose the middle spot. And that's Marianne Faton taking her spot there. She also has with her Célia Perrier-Passé, Marta Garcia Fares, Elena Bonell, Ivona Janicic and Alba Di Silvestro, who, as I said earlier, we don't often see at this stage of a sprint race, but a great start to the season for an athlete who is usually more well known for her endurance long distance racing. Marianne Faton, their current European champion at Celia Peria-Pessé, had some excellent overall results the last few years. Alba Di Silvestro been doing really well in the mixed relay with Michele Boscacci. It would be interesting to see when those races start this season how they do.
So here we have Celia Peria-Pessé, who finished second of the sprint ranking last season, and Marianne Faton, who finished third. So it's it's going to be a nice battle.
And of course, let's not forget Marta Garcia Fares, who was racing when you were still racing. I think there was a few years where the Spanish women must have been really amongst your toughest competitors, because they had some super strong years.
Yes, we were racing together. Then she got a baby, and she came back, and now she's still really strong.
Yeah, she is really strong. Winter is here, Laetitia. It looks like you said that the base was artificial, but so nice to see some actual snow coming down here for the second of the semi-finals for the women. We're at the ISMF World Cup Courchevel. It is the first race of the first weekend of the first ever Olympic qualifying year for ski mountaineering, and what an absolute thrill it is to be here.
Yes, what a great atmosphere here with the snow.
Marianne Faton there. Oh, Celia Peria-Pessé just sneaking in front of Ivona Janicic.
And yes, it is quite special this year with the extra pressure of the Olympics.
It is, and because the pressure is different for the sort of different countries, because the bigger, more well-founded nations, if you like, will not have as many difficulties getting places, qualifying places, but there's such huge competition within the teams for the athlete places, whereas the smaller nations may have a bit more difficulty, more difficult for them to get nation places, but once they have them, they have a smaller number of athletes to choose from. So the challenges are different for all the nations and all the athletes.
Yeah. We can see the grip seems to be not so good. In this part, like just after the transition zone, there is a steeper pitch. You can see they are a bit sliding.
And what difference can a really big boot pack like this, 65 steps, 18 meters of vertical, what difference can this make to athletes?
Yes, this boot packing here is really steep. It happens that it arrives at the end of the sprint. So when the fatigue is here, when you can feel your legs burning, and of course, it's hard just to keep pushing, And it can make a big difference between athletes who are maybe a bit more endurance, or for athletes really explosive. It's for sure it's different. You have to push and again, but
so we saw Alba Di Silvestro having a little bit just at the back of our screens there. She was right up there, but she had a bit of a trouble getting her skis off her bag, and it's put her back into fourth place. Well, certainly coming into that transition. But Marianne Faton of Switzerland, who is the current European champion and former world champion, and the current Swiss champion, heading down here with Celia Peria-Pessé hot on her heels.
yes,
They're fast down here.
yeah, they are two very good skier in downhill. Celia Periapese, she's a ski instructor, and yeah, both of them are really good going down. And here, as you say, the visibility is not so good.
No. And Marianne Faton takes the win here with Celia Periapase. They will both go across to the final. Marta Garcia Fares will have to wait and see. Albert Silvestro, who was up there near the beginning, slips into fourth. Ivona Janishik of Poland.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's Lena, but I think I saw someone crushing in a turn. So I guess Lena Bonnel is a bit yeah. She's not here.
Not here.
I guess it's yeah, because she crashed maybe.
Indeed. Well, I was just thinking that Marianne Faton will be extra motivated, if anyone needs extra motivation, to get to the Olympics, because her mother represented, I think, the Czech Republic in cross-country skiing in the Winter Olympics. So she will have it. She would like it, I imagine, to run in the family.
That's excellent.
So yes, just finished the semi-finals for the women. Looking at what's coming up for the men. You can see there in the sort of pale blue, those that go straight to the semi-finals, the two lucky losers. So there we saw the two lucky losers for the men. Inigo Martinez and, oh, do you know, I've instantly forgotten who the second one was, Leticia. We will soon see, but here comes Arno Lieta. This is going to be a punchy semi-final. Arno Lieta of Switzerland, one of the first specialists in the sprint discipline, I would say. One, as we said earlier, the Swiss really sort of started the trend of specializing their athletes, and he has up next to him there Robin Bussard, former junior Olympic teams champion, another Swiss uniform up there on the start line in this semi-final. That is John Kissler. Oriol Cardona-Coll. Ooh, this is a very, very punchy and exciting semi-final.
Yes, definitely.
And here comes Pablo Giner of France to stop the Swiss-Spanish domination of the start line. Because there's Inigo Martinez, the first lucky loser of the finals, the semi-finals for the men. So those two there, right at the front of your camera, Oriol Cardona-Coll and Arno Lieta. We've seen some battles, not just in races, but across whole seasons with those two, haven't we, Leticia?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Arno Lieta and Oriol Cardona-Coll.
Oh, yes.
Old rivals with some superbly exciting racing across, not just races, I was saying, but across whole seasons.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. They are impressive, both of them. I'm always impressed by their the fluidity. It seems to be easy, you know. It seems that they are just flying. It's so nice to see.
And what would you say, just briefly, you know, one strength from each of them, very quickly?
Yeah, as I said, they have to be very strong everywhere now. So, but Oriol Oriol Cardona call, he's really impressive on the boot packing for sure.
Following the technical delegate instruction. 30 seconds now to the start of 30 secondes donc au départ de la première petite finale.
And Arnaud Lieta, yeah, I don't know, it's he's so strong everywhere, but for the transition, he's so fast, so fast.
So we are here at the second of the men's semi-finals, a really punchy start. We were just looking at the start list there, a really, as I say, very exciting set of athletes here. And off they go. Look at all those red uniforms. We have 3 from Switzerland, 2 from Spain, and then a French athlete in the form of Pablo Giner. Talk us through this. This is fast.
Yeah, the Swiss athletes are always really fast at the start as well.
This is a really interesting angle. That was fantastic because you could see the right up into the diamonds and then a glide through the corner and then away again. It's very skilled in the way in which they did those diamonds.
Yes, it's a very specific technique actually.
As Arnaud Lieta ahead of John Kissler as they head up now. It's quite a long section after this those diamonds. There's sort of a slight angle to the slope there, so it's good to be in, I think, on the inside we've seen. But then you need to immediately be able to go left, so you don't want to get stuck.
Yes, the line and the trajectory is very important as well, you're right.
The 2 Swiss in there with almost no distance between them. Now, Arnaud Lieta has very long legs, which is always an advantage here.
Oof.
Oh. And
yes, it's not easy to take 2 steps by 2 by 2 like he's doing, because they are already quite big and it's really demanding.
And here comes his main rival of many races, Oriol Cardona call. John Kissler took a bit of a slip there, which is always an unfortunate thing to do. Look at that.
Yes. The transitions are perfect. He's really, we can see that it's really automatic. He's doing every movement just always the same. Yeah, it's
impressive.
It's perfect.
And there they are, the 2 we might have imagined we would see at the top of this semi-final. Heading down, it's Oriol Cardona call of Spain in behind Arnaud Lieta of Switzerland.
And we could see at the top when they take off the skins. Now they are using like kangaroo pocket, you know. And yeah, it's quite new, this kind of pocket.
Yes, because when you were racing, in fact, even to a few years ago, you had to unzip, put your things in, zip up again, and now it's just much easier. Arnaud Lieta takes the win ahead of Oriol Cardona call. They will go to the final. Yeah. John Kissler in behind them. Oh, always leaves me a bit breathless when these very super fast athletes get into this sort of stage in the racing day. So we are in Courchevel. It is the first weekend of the ISMF World Cup. It's the first race. It is absolutely chucking down snow, as you can see, but it is a magnificent day racing so far. We've had some exciting women's racing, and so far, touch wood, most of the favourites through. We have lost Max Drian, who we might have hoped to have seen at this stage. He had a little incident in the heats. But I think other than that, Laetitia, we've pretty much got everybody we were expecting to see at this stage.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Max Drian of Belgium, of course, there, second in the overall rankings last year. And but here is the man who beat him and who is to beat this year, Thibaut Anselmet of France, part of the Armée des Champions. Makes a big difference for, especially for athletes in a sport that is not so well known, doesn't it, Laetitia, to have the formation, the training within the army, the carabinieri, the whatever it might be for their country.
Yes, yeah, it makes a big difference for sure. You to have this statue, you can just be focused on your training, and it's much more comfortable for sure. And yeah, in Italy they have this statue for yeah for a lot of years, I think, and in France it's I was the first one, and now they are quite a lot, but it's really good. It's a very good thing for them for sure.
Basile Ducouré there from France on the right-hand side. We also have in this lineup Patrick Perretin, Jérémy Anselme up against his big brother. That's exciting.
Yes.
Otmar Ferrer Martinez and Giovanni Rossi of Spain and Italy, respectively.
Yes, it's. I don't know if it's the first time for Thibaut Anselme and Jérémy Anselme, but it's. It's so. I don't know. So cool.
Yeah, very cool. Well, it's a family affair pretty much everywhere in SkiMo, but very much so in this semi-final for the men here in Courchevel. I think it looks like Basile Ducouré is potentially our lucky loser in this heat, but not to worry, because we're here now, and all we have to concentrate on is what happens in the next approximately 3.5 minutes.
Yes, Basile Ducouré, who finished second of the French championship last weekend. So yeah, it's a great experience for him. But he's a very big hope for the French team. Could be like a big surprise.
Excellent. And they're off. This is the last of the semi-finals here in Courchevel for the first race of the season.
Thibaut, he's never the fastest athlete at the start, but then it's impressive to see how he's able to come back. Transitions after transitions, and
yeah, because there is Ott Ferrer. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ott Ferrer, looking like he is working ridiculously hard, and you won't see Thibaut Anselme's face for a moment, but as we said, he tends to make it look quite easy.
Yeah, but it's impressive because it's really hard to overtake actually. So yeah, always a bit scary to be at the back, you know. So it's really hard to keep calm and to keep focus on your performance and on your race when you're at this place.
But here he comes. This is where we saw him pick up the pace before coming into this transition.
Here we can see there are different techniques. So some athletes are putting one knee on the snow, the others are staying straight. Oops. Yeah, the steps are a bit big, and I guess with the fresh snow it's a bit slippery.
And look at
Thibaut Anselme, we can see it's hard for them, and run after run the fatigue is more present. Oh, and Thibaut Anselme is back to the second position.
But a great transition there from Ott Ferrer.
So impressive.
A really great transition there from the Spaniard.
Yes.
And away he goes. Thibaut Anselme behind him. He doesn't need to rush. He just needs to make sure nobody is overtaking him from behind. A nice result here, if all goes well, for Ott Ferrer.
yeah, you have to keep really concentrated on this downhill because it's not too complicated. But with the fresh snow, with the ice under, the mistake is really easy to do, and yeah, can be really quickly.
And then you can see Thibaut Anselme just letting up Ferrer do the work at the end there.
Yes.
And Basile Ducouré with a potential there to get through.
Lucky loser.
Yep, it's the final to the final. As you said, one to watch for sure.
Yeah, it's a great race for Basile Ducouré. It's he's experiencing the World Cup now, and yeah.
So where are we and what are we doing? It's Courchevel. It's the ISMF World Cup, the sprint race. We've now seen the last of the semi-finals. The women have raced their semi-finals. The men have raced theirs. And here we can see what is going to come up next in about 5 minutes. Emily Harrop, Mariana Faton, Julia Morada, Celia Perrier-Pessé, Margot Ravinel, and Tatiana Paller. A nice mix of nations there, although France slightly dominating. But good to see, and those are probably the people would be mostly expected to see up there. And we will be keeping you up to speed of everything that's going on. We can see that Margot Ravinel and Tatiana Paller took the lucky loser spot from the first of the semi-finals, and as we can imagine, probably because Julia Morada and Emily Harrop set the pace, it was quite a quick one.
Yeah, it's a good surprise for the French team to see Margot Ravinel in the final.
Yep, that is great. She had such a very strong junior career and has taken just a little while, I think, to warm up into the senior category, would you say?
Sorry. yes. No, it's she did some great results in the youth category, and then it's always hard to make this step to the senior category. So yeah, it's she's studying at the same time. She was in Lyon, so it was not so easy for her. So very happy to see her in the final.
Indeed, and who else? Well, we would, of course, not be surprised. We are going to see Emily Harrop, Marianne Faton, Celia Perrier-Pessé, Julia Morada. Very sort of obvious choices, one would say, if you were to pick them out before. Of course, we know anything can happen in the sprint, and often does. Talking of which, I think you have one of the most famous anything can happen stories, Laetitia, in the sprint. Isn't that right?
Yes, you're right. I was a bit like Thibaut Anselme, actually. I wasn't able to go fast at the very start of the sprint, so every time I had to keep concentrated until the end, and yes, I had some great experiences, losing the ski at the start, or and yeah, I don't know where I found the energy to come back, but yes, it's possible, and you have to keep in mind that nothing is done before the finish line.
And how do you manage that mentally? Because there must be this terrible disappointment.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's as soon as you did it once, then you know that it's possible to come back, and you know that it's. But for sure, you have to keep calm, to stay focused on your race and on your body, for sure.
We are here. It is the final of the women's race, and we've just seen Emily Harrop take her spot there, slightly to the right if you are on skier's right. That would be Luker's left of the centre. Then Marianne Faton took her spot. Célia Perrier-Pessé also there, just come out.
Already the final, Cathy.
It is. It's the first final of the season. It's exciting. And here's Margot Ravinel. She must be so excited. How fantastic to see this young athlete out there lining up with the best of the best right next to Giulia Murada and racing with some of the best. And of course, her teammates, Emily and Célia, I mean, must be very big inspirations for the younger athletes. Tatiana Paller of Germany taking her spot. Gosh, do you remember what it felt like to be a junior lining up, or a new senior lining up with the...
Well, new senior, actually, you know, when I started, I was 20 years ago already. So
Oof.
I don't know what means taking the start like in a junior category. So, but I remember the feeling at on the start line for sure.
Here we are live. It's the final of the first sprint race of the season. We are heading in less than a minute to see our first World Cup winner of the season. Christine Cavigné, the course commentator, will be giving us the 30 seconds silence very shortly. Always a moment of high tension and excitement. The French are very excited to see their home athletes on the start line, 3 of them.
This is the recommend to hear you, ladies and gentlemen. So make some noise for your athletes.
On approche maintenant à la cérémonie de...
These seconds are so long, you know, when you are on the start line.
I can imagine it's so long and yet so short.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Here we go. Off they go. A nice smooth start from everybody there, I would say. Marianne Faton taking the lead just ahead of Emily Harrop. Margot Ravinel into third. But I think Célia Perrier-Pessé has a little bit of the Thibaut Anselmet, sort of not always right there at the fastest starts.
Yes, yes, you're right. And Marianne Faton, she's really powerful.
She really is. Former world champion, current European champion. Had a couple of seasons go off. She was trying to train to be a teacher, and just combining both was just taking its toll. So she decided to fully concentrate on her sport, and it has paid dividends, because here she is, European champion, and she has Emily Harrop right in her, on her tail.
Yes.
And then Margot Ravinel. Célia Perrier-Pessé has come through into fourth. Look at Margot Ravinel. Giulia Murada just come in there ahead of Célia.
Be careful of this little pitch, a bit steeper here. Yeah, and the transitions.
Oh, little hesitation there for Marianne, and she's lost that lead to Emily Harrop. Gosh, it just shows you even the tiniest fraction of a second can make a massive difference.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Margot
and actually
Ravinel.
before Emily, I think she lost maybe well, just a little time to put the skis in the ring. And after that, in the end, Marianne Faton, she was a little bit slower.
But look at that transition. That was impressive.
It was perfect. Yeah, it was perfect. And here you have to glide. So this is the big question. Should I take like grippy skins to have a good grip where it's steep, or here because it's this flat? You have to take skins who are good glide as well. Perfect for Emilia Hope at home. Wow.
It's going to be exciting to see who comes out of transition next. Was that a red uniform we just saw go past? Because it looked like Margot Ravenel had her skins off first, but it is, I think, Marianne Faton in second.
Yeah.
As Emily Harrop comes home to the delight of the home crowd.
Yeah, she made a big gap in the end. Incredible. Oh.
And it is Marianne Faton in behind her, but Emily Harrop takes the first title of the season quite happily, I should imagine, at home in Courchevel. How exciting for her. Second place, Marianne Faton of Switzerland. An unbelievably exciting result for Margot Ravenel of France. How fantastic. And Celia Pérapessé comes in sixth, but gives a great big hug to, or congratulations to both of her teammates, Julia Murada in fourth and Tatiana Palla of Germany in fifth. But so as expected, but what a result there for Margot Ravenel.
Is it the first podium for Margot Ravenel, Cathy?
I think it is, you know.
In sprint, I think so.
I think it is. We can check that.
What a race, yeah. We could see that it was so close between Emily and Marianne Faton, and then just one transition a bit less smooth, and then yeah. Then in the end, it's a big gap between Emilia Hope and Marianne Faton.
Yeah, just that tiny fumble by Marianne Faton just there. It just cost her so much time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. I think that may even, you know, have been the first World Cup final for Marianne Faton. Beg your pardon, for Margot Ravenel. She was on the podium. I don't think she's been on the podium. I don't think she's even been in the final.
Yes,
so
it's possible. Yeah.
Unbelievably exciting for her. Congratulations. There's Christine, wrapped up warm. Going to have a chat, hopefully now.
You can see the Emily's backpack. It's not anymore a backpack actually, so I think it's a kind of prototype, because I've never seen this kind of backpack. But the equipment is improving so quickly this year.
Margot Ravenel into the flower ceremony. This is the fastest we've ever seen this happen, straight from the finish line.
Yeah, it's really emotional for her, I guess, here with the family, with the. She has everyone here to cheer.
There are the top three in the sprint race here in Courchevel. The top three women. And so we'll be seeing the men go very soon, but the women have already given us an incredible start to the day and this season, and we'll be chatting, seeing the men very shortly.
On y va?
Well, Laetitia, what a start to the season.
First victory in the first part of the season, first race. What a race, incredible. At home at Courchevel, it was a better taste for you.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's like a, it's a dream when you think of it. This morning I woke up and I felt really nervous. You know, I really wanted to do well on home turf. You're never sure in the beginning of the season how the legs are going, but I just wanted to give it my all with my friends and family here, so it's, yeah, amazing.
Congratulations and good luck for the next races.
Thank you so much.
Indeed, the emotions. What is it like to win at home in front of a home crowd, Laetitia?
Yeah, of course it's and just want to win for the family, for the others as well. So, but it's definitely the emotions are definitely even stronger than when you are in another country, for sure. And here it's her country, but it's yeah, it's just her ski resort. So yeah, even stronger.
Indeed, very, very exciting. So we only have one race left. We have the final for the men, and we can see that the two lucky losers making it into the final, John Kissler and Inigo Martinez, alongside some big names. Arnaud Lieta, Ott Ferrer is in there too, John Kissler, Oriol Cardona-Coll and Thibaut Anselmet, the man to beat this year, we would say, quite confidently, I think. And that's him just taking his jacket off. They're all ready to rock and roll for the final of the men in just under 4 minutes. And the Spanish team there all wrapped up warm. Arnaud Lieta getting ready to take to the final, alongside a couple of his biggest rivals. Arnaud Lieta, so they seem to be taking that spot slightly to the right there as the first choice. Emily Harrop also chose that spot, didn't she, Laetitia? What do you think that is? That to do with the camber, the slope of the slope?
So it took the right...
Slightly to the right of the center.
Yeah. Yes, I think here you... it's just straight, there is no turn on this first part, you know. So, because sometimes it's much more strategic because of a turn on this first part to reach the diamonds. Here, you have to be at the middle, and then I think right or left. Actually, I don't think it makes a big difference here. Okay. But it can be very tricky, you know. Sometimes this first part, you can have a big turn, and in this case, yeah, it can be really strategic.
John Kissler into the final for Switzerland. So one of his goals for this year, John Kissler, is to have a podium in the World Cup. Could this be the day, Laetitia? It's a fairly tough set of competitors there for him, but he's a very strong young athlete, second year in the seniors. And as we know, the Swiss are very good at training their sprinters, so it could be the day.
Yeah.
Oriol Cardona-Coll there, the boy from Bagnoles, the man these days, of course, who once told me that actually he'd just like to hang out, go to the beach and do a bit of sport. I'm not entirely sure that's true, though. You don't just hang out, go to the beach and become one of the best sprinting athletes in the world.
No.
He had a bit of an injury this summer, actually, in July, but it's been a while and he's managed to recover. He's made a few changes to his training and wants to see results from that, obviously. Really excited for the season. He had to do quite a lot of cycling this summer because of his injury, but apparently very pleased with his form and ready to roll. as he is on the final start line here to be taking off very, very soon.
Maximal concentration.
Certainly is. A great view here. As they take their marks. And this is it. It's the last race of the day. I'm not sure
Super
that
fast start. Oh my goodness, the velocity of the legs, you know, it's just just incredible.
And it used to be that a few years ago that sort of running technique was more something that the men did, but you see it right across the board now, don't you?
Yes, yes, it's true. I was thinking about that. Even the women were running all the way long until the boot packing, and you're right. It wasn't like that years before. The level is going up really quickly.
And it is the two rivals there, Arnolieta and Oriol Cardona Call. But as we know, they should not get comfortable because Thibaut Anselme currently last, but this is his spot. This is where he's chosen his spot to overtake, isn't it? In the last two races we've been watching.
Yes,
and the
yes,
semi-final.
Yes, but here there is a big gap between the two first and the rest of the athletes. Oh, they are so fast, both on the transition. Yeah, the gap is huge now.
And they're both really, really strong on the foot part. But Arnolieta looking a little tired there, I would say.
Yes, I agree, yeah. He looks a bit tired. And the last three steps, they are even bigger. Now, if you don't do any mistakes here, with a gap like that, it's kind of impossible to close the gap for Thibaut Anselme, for example. It's
and there we have John Kissler of Switzerland and Thibaut Anselme coming in behind. John Kissler looking quite tired, the young athlete feeling the pressure, I would say, up against these very experienced sprint athletes, but doing incredibly well as Oriol Cardona Call takes off ahead of Arnolieta with John Kissler behind, but Thibaut Anselme, I think, hot on his heels.
Thibaut Anselme is going to fight for the third place. It's possible, it's, for sure it's possible, but it's not easy, even especially on this sprint. Because at the end, after the last turn, he took the third place. Yes.
Oriol Cardona Call takes the first sprint win in the men's category here in Courchevel of the 2025 ISMF World Cup season, followed by Arnolieta of Switzerland and Thibaut Anselme of France in third. An excellent race there by the young Swiss athlete John Kissler. In fifth place, Inigo Martinez, followed by his compatriot Ott Ferrer. I would say probably Ott Ferrer and John Kissler. Some really great racing from those young athletes today. But it was, in the end, the three people we probably expected to see up there on the top.
Yes, for sure, for the podium, it's not a big surprise, but we didn't know, the order, which order, but yeah, what a great race for Oriol Cardona Call and Arnolieta. They were flying away.
Yeah, because Arnold Lieta had three back-to-back sprint wins and then was third last season. So he'll be, you know, they're so consistent once they get to that stage, but he'll be delighted to be in the top two, that is for sure. And it's such a small sport, isn't it, Laetitia? Everybody knows everybody. So, you know, there's fierce competition once the start gun goes, but they all know each other, and you can see here good conversations.
Yes. Yeah, and Arnaud Lieta, he's a very sprinter. I mean, he's training only for sprint for many years now, and it works.
It certainly does. A Swiss coach once told me that it has an extremely high tolerance for lactate, so that's why he can go hard like that. And here he is. No, beg your pardon, not yeah, number 3, Arnaud Lieta. Oriol Cardona-Coll takes the first win.
Thibaut Anselme changed the skis. New sponsor.
Yes, he used to be quite easy to spot with his yellow skis. But there we go, the helmet will have to do. Top 3 men there of the ISMF World Cup sprint race here in Courchevel. It hasn't been the best weather, but at least it's put down some fresh snow, and it has been a great day of racing.
Yeah, it's great to see the fresh snow.
Oriol Cardona, victory in the first sprint race of the season here in Courchevel, as it was last year in the first sprint race of the season in Val Thorens. Good shape for you, but for all the Spanish team.
Yeah, I think this year we have a really strong team from the federation and the Spanish country. They are pushing a lot for us to train well and to do a good pre-season. So I think we are a good team this year. We have a really strong team, also in women's, but today they didn't have a lot of luck.
So your race was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, for the sprint of the year, it's been 8 months since the last one, so we didn't know what was happening today. I just tried to push as much as I could in the end, and it worked, so I'm really happy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Laetitia, there we have it. That's the end of the first race, the first day of the first ever season that is an Olympic qualifying season for the fabulous sport that we both love of ski mountaineering. A quick recap of the day. Let's start with the women. Emily Harrop winning at home, something pretty special. Yeah, Emily Harrop wins at home, and Marianne Faton behind her. A great start for the season. Some of the strongest athletes there are looking, I think, probably to drive and really influence this whole season. Margot Ravinel, what a fantastic result for the young French athlete. First for her, and there we have you know, a view into the future really of the youth, the young women in this category. Giulia Morada of Italy ahead of Tatiana Paller and Celia Perrier-Pessé, who has had some fantastic seasons and will continue to do so. Amongst the men, the 2 great rivals, in fact 3 great rivals one would say within the sprint, Oriol Cardona-Coll, Arnaud Lieta and Thibaut Anselme of France. Really very, very exciting racing always when those 3 are out on the course. We had, of course, also great from the young athletes from Spain and Switzerland. And it as I say, just really great to see such a lot of fantastic young athletes making it through, first of all, to the heats and then into right up into the final here. Any thoughts, Laetitia?
Yeah, it's just nice to see that all of them seem ready to fight this winter, and yeah, it's going to be a very exciting season.
It certainly is, and all over the place. There will be racing in many countries this year. Next off, they're off to Azerbaijan for the first time, which is very exciting. I love to see when new federations take on, come up and take on World Cup destinations, make it a destination back into one of the favorites. I think maybe a favorite of yours from back in the day, Andorra, later in the season. Some really great racing there. Boitaul, of course, test events later on in the year in Italy at Bormio for Milan Cortina. Schladming in Austria, Valmartello, Villar and Tromsø all on the list. Not forgetting, of course, that this is an Olympic, I beg your pardon, also a World Championship year season. So it's been really, it's going to be really exciting. I'm going to be doing a lot of talking and hopefully seeing some great things. The World Cup ranking, we can see very briefly there. Emily Harrop, top of the tree for the Snow with her 100 points. Marianne Faton and Margot Ravenel. And that is basically the top 10 from today, because that's how we've started. And some probably a little bit disappointing there, perhaps for the likes of Caroline Ulrich, Lena Bonnell. But it's only the beginning.
Yeah.
Oriol Cardona-Cole and Arnaud Leta Thibaut Anselme, as we see there. Nicola Canclini and Robin Galando will both probably have been disappointed not to make it to the final as well. But plenty of races to go, Laetitia.
Yes, for sure. It's just the beginning of the season. Yeah, maybe a little... Robin Galando, for example, maybe he was expected better. But yeah, it's just the beginning, and... now they have a kind of a big gap before the next World Cup, so yeah, they will have some time to train again.
Indeed. And what generally sort of happens over a big gap like this, because it's almost a month to the next race. I mean, there will be some racing tomorrow, obviously, but there's a big gap now between this and the next sprint race.
Yes, it's actually hard to be ready for the beginning of the season and to be ready until to keep ready to fight and to be at the top level until the end. It's kind of a long season, but this big gap, I think you just take advantage of this period to train again and to analyze this first race, to be able to improve everything, your transition, your equipment, it's just an opportunity, I guess, to improve your equipment and to train again.
Indeed.
Because then you have like almost every weekend you have something, so then it's hard to have enough time to really make a big block of training.
Indeed. And there may be some national championships coming up, of course. That quite often happens at this time of year, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that's it from today's ISMF World Cup in Courchevel. We saw everybody give everything, and it is time to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to a great season.